We're moving in to reviewing, adding, and subtracting decimals. This is going to be a quick review. This is something that you learned last year. With adding decimals, first you have to write the problem vertically. That means up and down, and you need to line up the decimals. So we need to line up the decimal when we write our numbers. Number 2, add zeros to fill in the empty spaces or empty place values after the decimal. Number 3, we add. And then number 4, bring down the decimal into your answer. So first we're going to write this. We have 77 and 843 thousandths plus we line up our decimal 9 and 45 hundredths, add a 0 here, and then we add down. 3 plus 0 is 3, 4 plus 5 is 9, 8 plus 4 is 12, carry our 1. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 9 is 17, 1 plus 7 is 8, and then we bring down our decimal. So our answer is 87 and 293 thousandths. Next we have 146. Remember we have to write it vertically, 146 and 9/10 plus 32 and 87 hundredths. Remember we have to line up these decimals. We put a 0 here to fill in the empty place values. And then we add. Now notice I didn't add a 0 here. There's no need to add one there because it is before the decimal. We're only adding a 0 after the decimal. So let me go ahead and put that back. And let's add down. 0 plus 7 is 7. 9 plus 8 is 17. 1 plus 6 is 7 plus 2 is 9. 4 plus 3 is 7, and 1 plus 0 is 1, and then we bring our decimal straight down. And our answer is 179 and 77 hundredths. Okay, now let's talk about subtracting decimals. When we subtract decimals, first we have to write the problem vertically, lining up the decimals again, add zeros to fill in the empty place values after the decimal. Then we subtract. We have to remember to borrow if we need to. And then we bring down the decimal. Okay, so we have 75. Oh, come on. We have 75 minus 19 and 25 hundredths. Now remember that this is an imaginary decimal right here after our whole number, and we add our 2 zeros. Now we can subtract and borrow. So we have to borrow from the 0, which we cannot, so we move on down to the 5. Becomes 4. This becomes a 10 that we borrow from, which is a 9. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 2 is 7. Oops, I brought down my decimal early. You can go ahead and bring it down. It's up to you. We cannot do 4 minus 9, so we have to borrow again from the 7. Becomes a 6. This is 14 minus 9, which is a 5. 6 minus 1 is 5, and bring down our decimal. Now, if you ever get a number that you're really not sure, remember you can always check it by adding your answer to what you subtracted from, or by subtracting 75 minus 55 and 75 hundredths and checking to make sure you get 19 and 25 hundredths. Okay, last problem for us to practice together. 103 and 6 hundredths minus 42 and 765 thousandths. So remember our 0 goes after the decimal, and now we subtract. We have to borrow, and we have 10 minus 5, which is 5. 5 minus 6 we cannot, so we have to Borrow from the 3 becomes a 2. Borrow from the 10, which becomes a 9. So 15 minus 6 is 9. 9 minus 7 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. We have to borrow from the 1, which becomes a 0. 10 minus 4 is 6. 0 minus 0 is 0. And we bring our decimal down. So our answer should have been 60 and 295 thousandths.